Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. Today we're going to talk about Malta, a very interesting country in the Mediterranean, some changes that they have been making and how that might affect you or might not affect you depending on your situation, but it might affect whether you want to consider Malta. Before we get started, click the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Click the notification bell, turn on, device notifications, all that stuff that you can find out about. I'm trying to get up to one video a day. We're going to see how we do on that. It's quite a bit of content. But working on getting a lot of content out there for you. Go and check out our other videos. Check out, you can go and share them if you like them, and let us know. And if there's something you want to see, please let us know. We'll try and create some content around that. So anyway, let's jump in. All right, so Malta, for those of you who don't know, small island in the Mediterranean. It is, considered to have some of the best weather in Europe. Arguably, that makes it some of the best weather in the world, right? So in this sense, very attractive. Malta also has for a long time had a bunch of really smart tax policies. So for instance, from a corporate standpoint, they had a high level tax on the surface of 35%, but by structuring properly, you could get down to 5%, in some cases 0%, and that's pretty good, right? So very, very interesting in that regard. They have been a haven for the gaming industry for quite a long time. They were one of the first ones to bring in kind of crypto regulations. So they're kind of progressive in certain respects, all right, in terms of attracting people. They're one of the few European countries that has a citizenship by investment program. And they also have some pretty attractive regimes from a tax standpoint for people being willing to move there, okay? In spite of all this, they have not managed to attract many people. I have a close friend who moved there this year. I was just on a call with someone yesterday who they were kind of interested in it as one possibility. And so there is some interest. I at some point looked at it being a option, etc. But there are some downsides of Malta, and particularly the bureaucracy, ability to get things done. It's just not a well-functioning system from that standpoint. The other thing is that they've suffered quite a bit from a negative reputation. So a number of years ago, maybe like 2014-ish, maybe a little bit earlier than that, there were a number of banks there, and it was possible to open bank accounts. Bank of Valletta before that was quite good. But some of those banks went under, so there was kind of some well-known bank failures that happened. Some banks pulled out, and in general, the regulations got really tough, so that it's virtually impossible to get bank accounts in Malta today. And that causes a lot of issues because you have to ask the question of where to go. So what they've done recently is they went through and they closed down about 10,000 defunct companies, okay, which is about 10% of their corporate register, to give you some context. And this is all part of their general move, at least on paper, to clean up Malta's reputation, improve anti-money laundering, et cetera, okay? So what does this mean for you? Well, it's one of numerous kind of changes they're making. They're doing some similar things with respect to their citizenship program, kind of trying to weed out bad actors, right? Because as they have the change that has happened in the world today is that if a jurisdiction gets a reputation for a lot of bad actors going there, then the rest of the world basically blacklists them in one form or another. And in particular, through the banking system, they've used the monetary system as a tool. They've weaponized it to make it really, really tough. And as a result, kind of bullied some countries into quote unquote cleaning up their act. Now, whether there's a legitimate concern or whether it's more of a geopolitical type concern, that's a whole other conversation. But one way or another, the point is that these reputational factors have started to matter in I would say, mainly I've noticed in about the last 5 years, okay? Approximately that, maybe like a little bit longer than that. So from that standpoint, it's kind of important that they clean things up, hopefully in order to be able to, open things up a little bit more. And we have seen some signs of this. Revolut coming into Malta is one example of kind of potentially easing up the banking system. And, there's kind of this increasing move with fintech where, okay, now you have a few more banking options that might work. And like I said, they have a very smart system, right? There's so many different things. I'll do a video in the future, probably 2 videos actually. One on, I'm supposed to go to Malta soon, so hopefully when I'm there, I'll do some videos for you guys. and talk about a little bit about their residency programs, a little bit about their citizenship program, a little bit about life in Malta, a little bit about forming companies and structures and things like that. But in the meantime, the bottom line is that they've got some really smart stuff. They've just got some things that seem to create enough friction and enough problems that it doesn't become a top choice for most cases, the gaming industry being like the one big exception for quite a few years, okay? So what does this mean for you? Well, it means that they're taking some action, right, that is potentially over time going to ease things up and make it, I would say, a more functional country for doing business. The problem is, in the process, they are likely, even if we just think about what's happened with banking there, right? So we say, okay, it used to be that you could get bank accounts pretty easily in Malta. And they attracted a lot of bad actors. They created a lot of problems. There was a point at which Bank of Valletta was in quite a bit of risk. And there's a whole other story that we can go into. Bank of Valletta is the biggest bank in Malta. And so, okay, they had these issues. Well, how did they deal with that? Well, they tightened everything up, right? So my concern is that, yeah, while they try and tighten things up in order to improve their reputation, what they do is they make it inaccessible for people who would want to take advantage of it. And I don't think that at this point in time, they've really figured out how to walk that balance line between saying, hey, listen, we're going to let in good people while not letting in bad people, and that we're not going to create a ton of friction for the good ones to get in. That's seems to be a tough rope to walk on. And I just don't see it at this point in time. So this being said, I think they do have a great residency program. It's one of arguably the best passport in the world that's available by investment. It's quite expensive, but it's certainly top 2, I would say. It's a situation where they have a really smart tax policy. And so for the right person, it might make a lot of sense to consider it. So anyway, for what that's worth, just giving you some updates on what's going on in the world of offshore and cleaning things up, etc. If you're interested in Malta, you can reach out to us, book a call with me. There's a link below, clarity.fm/Michael Rosmer. We can have a conversation about it, or you can look at some alternatives. If you're in a situation, a lot of people have bank accounts in Malta and they need to, or they don't have bank accounts in Malta, or they're losing bank accounts in Malta and they need to get one. We're helping people with that. Sometimes you're in a situation where you want to get set up there, either for residency, citizenship by investment, or something else. Or maybe you're saying, hey, listen, I'm not sure if Malta's for me. What are some other options? And happy to discuss any of those things with you. Please click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, like this video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you have some preference or experience, let us know about that as well. And check out our websites, offshorecitizen.net, offshorecapitalist.com. Check out our other videos. I'm going to see you guys on the next video.